So back to the geoengineering, and obviously he's insinuating it right now. Is that being done by the elites to prevent us from seeing this inbound body, or is there a bigger picture to it?
There's a bigger picture to it. What they're doing, you're talking about Rothschild, Gates, you're talking about Rothschild, Rockefeller, Gates, eugenics is what you're talking about. And what they're spraying you with is nanotechnology. Well, they're actually components. They can't spray you with actual nanobot, but they spray you with the components. Then you breathe them. Many of them are going to get on your skin, but your skin is a natural defense against anything like that. You shed your skin way quicker than any of these little guys can do anything. And you're only dealing with components anyway. But what happens is, he educated me on it, these components, you breathe them in and then you regurgitate them. And it's your lungs don't like them. It's just like dust or anything else. It comes up, but then you swallow it. Whenever you swallow it, it goes into your stomach and hits the acid-rich environment. That's whenever the crystallization begins. These things grow to predetermined diameter, and then on the corners of these crystals, that's where they grow these appendages, the legs for mobility and antennae for communication. And then that's where HAARP comes in, because the carrier wave, which is now space-based, the old analog system was done away with in 2013. Now it's all digitized and it's all space-based. They're maintaining a carrier wave around our planet so that artificial intelligence can multi-frequency on top of that wave, and it's like broadband. So he's creating many other frequencies, and he's communicating with the nanos in your body. That's what the spraying is about, and they're wanting to upgrade it. What the scientists have been doing is trying to break the 5 nanometer barrier so that artificial intelligence can tell the nanos in your body to reassemble amino acids to viruses. If you remember the H1N1 scare, this was a super duper biological weapon. The problem was 2 missing amino acids. That's all they had to do was reconnect, and they had a super strain. That was a dry run for what's coming in the future. When the elite fail-safe plan is initiated, there's going to be contagion, and it's going to be artificial intelligence assisted. And they need these nanobots to be inside of you in order to make the stuff work. So this is the way that the House of Rothschild is controlling everything. Their end game is control. They cannot allow the sleepers that are all around them to wake up to what's happening, because that'll start a civil war. They're not going to be able to run to the underground arc cities. So this is a mechanism, this is a device that they use to control the masses right now. So what they have in Denver, remember that the New York Charter of the Council on Foreign Relations opened up their charter in Denver in 1938. That's how long they've been preparing the underground arc city program that's there, the underground bunker positions that are there. And that's why the FBI, the CIA moved their headquarters there in 2005, because now they're working with the Council on Foreign Relations working groups. These working groups are the ones that are running these real-world simulations. There's a radio show happening right now. We're in their simulation.
Right.
The way that they connect, the way they get the impulse, the input data to feed their real-world host is through HAARP. It's through artificial intelligence communicating with the nanos in your body so that it can transmit and give input to the real-world host. They have a main program, and then they create duplicates of that in order to identify threats. They're going to change one thing in millions of simulations. Artificial intelligence does this very rapidly, and they identify the threats. Once we get beyond their fail-safe, they won't care. But until then, their worst fear is that the military contingent, the lettered agencies, people working our government, that they're going to wake up and then want their place in the underground arc city, and there's not enough room for everybody. Civil war that ruins the elite plan. So this is the way that they do it. That's what HAARP is. It's a means so that they can control everything. The thing that you were asking me about is the geoengineering, like the scalar square technology and things like that. They're using that to make the Earth look more normal. If they weren't using these devices, weather modification devices, then it would become more apparent what's going on. So they're trying to nudge things to make them look like a regular weather pattern, whenever what's happening to the Earth right now is anything but regular. You have jet stream fluctuation that is wild.
Right.
And you have air masses now mixing from the northern and southern hemispheres, which is wild.
Right.
That was caused by ocean conveyor disruption. The northern ice sheets depleted very rapidly because of the large magnetite deposits under the North Pole. the black star is taking the sun's electromagnetism and it's redirecting it through a secondary set of magnetic portal connections. The Earth is absorbing that electromagnetism and it's being translated into heat through induction. The induction process, like a new wave cooker. So the metals and the salts are what's causing the Earth to heat up. The northern ice sheets depleted, that reduced the polar drift. You have not enough polar drift, and then the ocean conveyor breaks. That's already happened. Then the jet stream starts fluctuating. That's already happened. So these dominoes are falling. The elite are trying to prop them up, like they're propping up silver using the back door of the Fed. They did the short position of J.P. Morgan. It's very similar. They're trying to make your money look like it's worth something, so you don't wake up. They're trying to keep gas around $2 a gallon. They're trying to manipulate everything to make sure that everybody thinks it's cool, and so they don't wake up. They're thinking peace and safety only move 3. The reason is because the relationship it has with the black star, between the black star and the sun, they have mismatched magnetic polarity, so that the black star is actually slowing down as it's coming to perihelion position, which is crazy. And I only found out about it from reading the research of a Canadian student, not from NASA, and it was observed 2 stars coming together, and the smaller one was slowing down because the binary star magnetic repulsion. So that's what we have as a star. It's not a planet, it's a star. And it is being repelled by the sun at the same time that it's being drawn in by the gravity. The deal is the gravity force pulling it in multiplies it by 2, but with the square of the closing distance. The square of the closing distance. The magnetic polarity strength, the repulsion force is increasing by the cube of the closing distance. It's actually greater than the cube because we're not dealing with static magnets here that have a certain force. We're dealing with a black star that's siphoning energy from the sun and becoming more powerful. So it's actually growing. It's coming in, and the black star magnetic polarity strength is growing while the sun's magnetic polarity strength is weakening. So it's actually growing by more than the cube of the closing distance. So what's happening is when it's far away and it's coming in, it's on an elliptical orbit, but it's transitioning. We caught it in between 2015 and 2016, transitioning to something that's more circular. And it's going to reach perihelion near Venus orbit path. When it does, and it's done this before. That's why Venus is screwed up. No. Venus has a reverse rotation. It's the planet in the inner solar system that rotates backwards from all the others.
Like, are we talking a giant tsunami? Are we talking, magma coming up through the streets? I mean, what are we talking about?
All the above. Talking about massive. See, California is in the worst position in the whole world. And the safest place to be in the United States is in the Ozarks. Just like John Moore says, just like the Navy intelligence people. The Navy, because I'm from a Navy family, Navy intelligence knows what's happening, but the Navy does not know what's happening out there. The guys that know that's why I moved to the Ozarks and worked there for 2 years. Because I know this stuff's coming. So I went there and worked without pay on a large land. You can walk around this land for days, and it's the safest place to be. You're far enough south to avoid the pyroclastic flows. You got protection from the Rocky Mountain range, and the prevailing winds are going to take it north of our position. The power plants that are on the North American Craton are going to be decommissioned. The elite are going to get their power from there later in the timeline. There's no comparison to a nuclear power plant on the North American Craton and one that is on the East Coast, where you have thin crust and you're going to have crustal displacement later in the timeline. There's also no safe zone east of the Mississippi River Basin for that reason. Just imagine after Yellowstone goes, New Madrid's going to pop, you're going to have a new line of earthquakes running from Louisiana all the way up to the Great Lakes. It's going to liquefy the entire region. The liquefaction is going to create the inland Gulf. Everything is going to flow right out into the Gulf of Mexico, and the salt water is going to run all the way up to the Great Lakes. That's the scenario that we're talking about. And then, problem is, the stories of Pangea. There was one continent. Right. Well, the edges went away from each other, and they came together on the other side of the planet. Guess where that is? Central United States. So you have got a fault line that is on the eastern side of the ridge of the Appalachian Mountains that's pushed together like fists. Whenever New Madrid goes, then you're going to get a settling from the ridge that's going to want to move west, and it's going to open up this crack and you have a fault that's running from North Carolina all the way up to New England, that's going to shake just like the New Madrid. There's no safe zone over there. You can't go in a cavern and come out later because of all the nuclear power plants that are and the prevailing winds are over there. You don't have to move. You have to have a bug out location, a place that you're going to go. About the real world simulations, I think I give you a little bit of information on that. Their ultimate goal is to reverse the feed. See, they're gathering input data from you to feed your real world host in the simulation. Now, the goal is to reverse that so that the real world host inside is controlling you. So that's what their goal is to be able to control. This is about manipulation and control, and just so they can get to the underground arc cities. Because, like you said, the Black Star is going to kill everybody.
Okay,
So we are living in a matrix right now. You are connected to a host that's in a matrix right now. The question is, have you been reverse fed yet? Is that why people are walking around as like zombies? Like they don't know what's going on? Because a percentage of the population, according to Billy, cannot be controlled by HAARP. A percentage of the population, Morgellons disease is a side effect of rejecting the technology, the nanotechnology, the filaments. They could grow right out of your skin, and there is a way to neutralize their ability.
Back to the elites. What is the real reason that they don't want anybody to know? Is it just for the eugenics, just to reduce population?
It's going to threaten their own survival. Whenever you know that the world's about to end, what are you going to do? They can't control you then. They can't ensure the safety of their families going to the underground arc cities. And they have to keep it quiet. Just like the 2012 movie. The people with green cards, they know they're not telling a soul. It doesn't matter who wins. The President of the United States is the chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations in Denver.
Right.
Okay? Let's just use Benghazi as an example. People know about it. The stand down order came from Denver. Obama was told to stand down. Hillary was told to stand down. General Ham. But Obama doesn't do anything. He's a puppet. The guy doesn't have a brain in his head. He doesn't know what he's doing. The people that are doing it are the people, the House of Rothschild, the Council on Foreign Relations. That's on this side of the country, this side of the world. Trilateral Commission, the Bilderbergs, their working groups. Those are the people that run the show. Those people in Washington, it doesn't matter who's over there. It doesn't matter whatsoever. The problem that I have with Hillary is the fact that so many Americans are willing to accept somebody so competition with illegals, companies that hire strictly illegals. Our company had 350 people, and it's out of business because we refused to work the illegals. The prices kept going down and down and down and down below cost because you can hire 3 illegals for the price of 1 bricklayer, American bricklayer. So that's a big problem we have here. And if he could fix some of that, which is not going to happen, it's part of the worker displacement agenda of the CFR. So you've got NAFTA type treaties, guest worker programs. They're going to bring 1.5 million foreigners into this country to take jobs that we don't even have. And they're going to do it every single year as part of the agenda. So the United States is done. The United States is done. That's why I'm a member of a survival group in the Ozarks. I think you guys should be too.
But let me ask you
New World Order.
Well, I mean, obviously they're a threat right now. Russia and the United States are threatening them.
No, they're not. They're friends. This is all good cop, bad cop thing. They're keeping you mesmerized watching them. They're getting ready to run the underground arc cities. They have to run sleeper operations. So they have to get their people that are not going to the underground cities, they have to get them oriented, trained for deployment. They're going to be deploying troops everywhere when the thing gets here because they want Americans on Russian soil, Russians on our soil. Because then, whenever it comes time, they're going to deploy the sleepers against us and we're going to neutralize one another. That's the plan. Also, there's going to be a peace treaty. And the only way they're going to have a peace treaty is if they bang the war drums, make everybody think that they're going to war. The Russians, the Americans, the elite, they have too much of a threat with the Black Star. They're not going to create more threats by blowing people up with nukes. That is not going to happen. They're going to get up on the stage just like Trump and Hillary, and they're going to dance around and everything, and then they're going to decide, well, we better have peace. That's what's going to happen. It's all a smokescreen. I encourage you to read the book None Dare Call It Conspiracy by former Congressman Gary Allen. Came out in the 70s. We're going to have here is going to be, they're going to have throughout the solar system. They're not going to get away by getting in a spaceship, and they wouldn't want to do that anyway. They want to stay right here. The Georgia Guidestones agenda is going to be fulfilled by the Black Star. They're going to have their 500 million, the world population to grow. At least that's their plan. They've already got their plan laid out here. If they were just going to get in a ship and go, one thing, there's far too many of them, of the elite. The other thing is, this is going to sound a little strange too, AI that is running this underground real world simulation, it's not created by people. It was given to them by the aliens. So the elite have been working with the aliens for a long time. A lot of what you think is a UFO, a spaceship, is reverse technology that the Americans, the Russians, they have been doing.